You may think that some of the illicit substances that are on our streets are getting here via Mexico, Central America, or even perhaps China. As it turns out, they're our own government supply, and yes, there's plenty of it. Now, before we get into today's show, I want to say, tune into the live stream tonight. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do that now. You'll get a notification for when we go live at 9:30 Eastern time. Tonight's special guest is Jim McMurdy. He's a teacher who was fired in British Columbia for telling the truth to students about what happened with the residential schools. We all know that truth and reconciliation is something that we're looking for here in Canada. Well, truth is where we start with that. Now, into the story, BC's safe supply drugs are being sold by organized crimes across Canada, says the RCMP. And this is a recent drug bust that happened in BC here. And this is only a portion of the drug seized by Prince George BC RCMP. This is all stuff that is actually headed for, you guessed it, the same people that they're pushing it on. But who's this being pushed on? Mostly children. This is being pushed on kids to try to get them started in the whole opioid crisis that we're having here in Canada, North America, around the world. Lots of people are getting addicted to these substances, and it is a pandemic, probably the real pandemic that's happening here in Canada. Let's go over this story. Thousands of opiate pills obtained by prescription through a safe supply, in quotes here, harm reduction program have been seized by police in Prince George, BC, after they were found to have been diverted to organized crime groups reselling them across Canada. They're getting more people addicted to these substances. This is what's happening. And then eventually they'll end up in the government supply program. But why go to cartels to get these drugs when you could go to the pharmaceutical industry themselves and make it legal? And this is largely what they've been doing. Organized crime groups are actively involved in the redistribution of safe supply and prescription drugs, says Corporal Jennifer Cooper of the RCMP's Prince George Detachment. Many of the pills that were seized had been prescribed to specific individuals, but were found all collected together, no longer belonging to those individuals, she said. She added, might mean how we regulate our safe supply might need a sober second glance. Now, I did report on this last month, I believe it was. This is the video. I'll make sure that there's a link up in the card and in the description down below. You can go check this out, where they're actually supplying these drugs to minors and without your approval. Adam Zivo wrote this article for National Post saying BC plans to give safer supply fentanyl to minors and parents won't have a say. No minimum age is listed on the protocols for providing youth with taxpayer-funded recreational bad stuff. Let's just say it, and it is bad stuff. This is no good stuff for anybody. In what constitutes a clear trampling of parental rights, British Columbia recently authorized the provision of safer supply stuff, tablets, to youth across the province, regardless if parents are informed or agree to this measure. The provincial government has provided limited access to safer supply tablets since at least 2020, primarily through a small-scale pilot project. However, last August, the British Columbia Centre on Substance Use, an influential research organization, published protocols permitting doctors and nurses to prescribe safe tablets to adults and minors. Now, this all gets conflated because there's that recent film from Aaron Gunn talking about Canada is dying. I'll leave a link in the description for that as well. But he was talking about a different substance that the government was supplying. I don't want to keep saying these names because the transcript will pick it up. But this is actually giving the other substance. There are multiple of these protocols being pushed out at the same time and trials happening, and they're pushing for this agenda. Now, there's no evidence based on this that this will actually work. And this is a write-up, again, links in the description. BC Safer Supply Tablet Protocol excerpts regarding absence of evidence supporting this intervention. Providing these tablets to reduce harms associated with unregulated opioid use is not an evidence-based intervention. To date, there is no evidence available supporting this intervention, safety data, or established best practices for when and how to provide it. Prescribed tablets have been utilized in 3 problematic settings in British Columbia, with evaluation of this novel intervention underway in these locations. So there is no evidence. They're saying this is the whole thing. They're bringing this forward as if there is evidence, yet the evidence is not yet been accumulated. They're trying to establish the evidence in this. But this is what's happening. What we've seen in Prince George is people taking prescribed medication, some of which is dedicated as safe supply of prescription drugs, and selling them to organized crime groups in exchange for more potent illicit drugs. The organized crime groups are then taking the prescription drugs and selling them interprovincially across Canada. The government is the supplier now in this case. But I'm going to leave this one at that. I want you to know that we'll be live streaming tonight again. The guest tonight will be Jim McMurray, BC teacher who was fired for telling the truth about what's been happening. Subsequently, he went into writing and wrote a lot about this particular situation in Canada. So I'd love you to tune in tonight for that. That's at 9:30 Eastern time. Hopefully we'll see all of you. No, we won't see all of you, of course, but anyone who has the time this evening to tune into that. But leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about this whole safe supply malarkey that's been happening. The government has turned into the pusher in Canada, and this is as the opioid crisis has gotten worse and worse in Canada. If you've been to the downtown east side of Vancouver, you'll know all about that, but you don't have to go there. It's popping up in so many towns and cities across Canada. It is really abhorrent. I just want to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you in the next one. We'll see you tonight in the live stream. Keep on trucking.